Okay, as I continue with this flatting job, I want to bring some more of the greens in there to pick up the logo colors, right? So I use my magic wand, I go to my line art layer, I select the areas where I think green will work. So I need magic wand, I need it to be contiguous, tolerance of 32, and I can hold down shift and select multiple places. And that might be everything. Well, this little stick may be green. All right, and now I go to the flat color layer, I go to my paint bucket, and I find a good green. This might be a good place for this lighter green. And I paint it in. There we go. And now this kind of orangey brown color for the satchel on the back. Select it, hold down shift, select the bottom of it. I don't think there's really anywhere else I use this on my color comp. But we'll see, I might need to. And then bring it in with my paint bucket, select it, see if there's a version of it I like better. That one's pretty nice. And remember, at any time I can always change it, but I kind of like that one. Yeah, I like that better than the mustard green or mustard brown. And now the pinks. Pinks are really going to be important because they complement the blues and the greens really nicely, so it looks more rounded. And I like the pink that I found. I just used these to make my color comp. You can see that that same pink is used for the skin color in this comic panel. So it's a pretty common one to use. So it mixes well, it reproduces well. First I have to select those areas. Where am I going to have the pink? On the hand. And on the feet. All these different segments of the feet. And then I drop it in with the paint bucket onto the right layer. And I have to select it first. So it's that one. There's also this one. This one's a little lighter, so I'll try this. Maybe I want it a little darker. Let's see. Yeah, I like the lighter. Okay. So once you fill it in with one color, if you try others, it will only change one at a time, right? Like I might do stripes on the legs like that. Looks a little too earthwormy. But what if I do it like this? Just more subtle. It's still local color because I'm basically saying there are now stripes. Whoops. And this gives me an opportunity to show you something. So when I paint here, I wanted to just fill that one, but there's that little gap, right? Which is in the selection, you see? So how do I get around that? This will happen to everyone once in a while. So one way to do that is to simply use your lasso and draw the shape you want. If it's an easy one like this, no problem at all. Then you go to your flat color layer and you just paint that color in, right? But if it's more complicated and you really wish that you could just select the thing without it having an open edge, then this is what you do. So I'm going to undo that. You make a duplicate of your black line layer and you rasterize it. And then with a color that is not black, I like to use really, really bright red. You use your paint tool, your paintbrush, and you contain the shape like that. Usually a little bit smaller than your line art. So use a fully opaque brush and you just fill in the gap on this rasterized version, right? Then you use that rasterized version to select the shape and then paint it in. And then that will give you a nice clean selection. And then of course you just turn off that rasterized version when you're done. So it's just the vector line art that's showing. So it's fine to have gaps in your line art, but sometimes it's really helpful to contain them, even just temporarily, so that you can fill it in with color. What next? I don't think I want green on the knuckles. I think I want yellow on the knuckles. So now I'm just working to get rid of all this empty space. So I'm going to fill it with this color. And then let's decorate this sword. We have a dark blue. And I'm going to pick these different pieces of the scabbard. Remember, it's the white of the magic wand. And I'm going to fill those in with that dark blue. And maybe I want to go a little bit darker. That's what my color references help with. That's a tiny bit darker. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I wonder if I can make use of that somewhere else. Yeah, let's use that same blue here and here and here. So you're kind of putting things together like a puzzle piece, fitting in these different colors in contained shapes where possible, getting a sense of how it can all come together. And I've got a lot of individual contained shapes here. Can use a darker green there, why not? Yeah, I like that. Good. And again, once you fill them in with something, it's easy to change them up. But you've got to select them all and fill them in first. That's the bit of the chore, because you're working between the selection of your vector line art and those empty spaces and all the other stuff you're doing with the paint bucket. I want to lighten that up just a little bit. That's nice. No, it's too close. There we go. Where else? Where else? This little shard here. I think I'll make that the bright green. And you can see that's the difficulty of flatting or finding your flats, is just getting it so each color is fairly distinct from its neighbors. And then let's see. Crossbar and the bottom of the scabbard. Let's do that the nice gold color. Maybe this golden yellow. little things I left out. And these are all just filled at 100% opacity. And this chord, what do I want? Probably this color. And then this patch, maybe the light gray. Okay, I think that's going to be everything. Oh, the stripes and the crossguard. That's all green. Okay. Almost there. And then we'll be done with flat color. And that's why we lock our layers, so you don't accidentally paint on the wrong layer. So the last things I need to select from my line art, my black bread, are just these openings. And they're the things that are filled in with middle gray, just because I have the gray background, but it would be filled in with white. Oh, there are these too. Yeah, there's all in the eyebrow. Ah, so much. So let me do those. First with the green. Maybe I want the lighter green. Yeah, maybe the darker green for this. Nope, lighter green. Okay. And now, what else? Ah, the little gold trim and the little buckle there. So I'm going to do that with gray. And we've still got time. And then the last one, last thing I need to fill in, last two things I need to fill in. That's why I always do the gray background so I can see. So the eyebrow and then this little piping. So the eyebrow is a dark blue. That'll be fun. Select it. Go here and find a dark blue I like. Drop that in. Mm-hmm. It's similar how I'll do colors for the veterans mural with your vectors and with what goes around them. And then the clean space here on the ridge, and I want this to look kind of golden. So I think I'm actually going to go for this yellow. Now remember, as long as I put something in, then I can easily change it. Yeah. All right, now I can turn off my color references. And I can save my work. This is my first layer. This is my simple cheese sandwich. It's got one layer of color between the black bread and the white bread. And does it look good on white? It looks passable. I don't like this shape yet. Right, so let me fix that. And to do that, I am simply going to click within here and change that color to this one. And then how do I fix this shape? Well, I go to